more stimulating talk radio.
If you're a smart alien on a planet of stupid, we're your mothership.
KFI, more stimulating talk radio.
KFI, AM 640, Bill Handel here, June 9th on a Monday. More on this iPhone app that's getting some attention. It was one of our listeners, a father who wrote us and saying that his son had been playing this game all last week. And it is fairly brutal. The game features three types of fugitive scenarios, so you can be one of three kinds of escapees: a murderer, a prison escapee, a terrorist planning an attack. And each scenario is made to stimulate what it really would be like to be a fugitive after committing those crimes. We're talking about killing people, breaking into homes, holding people ransom. I mean, it just goes all the way down the list. And also, as you try to escape, you change your clothes, you get things that help you escape. If the cops are nearby, you hide out in the woods. I mean, all the stuff that a fugitive would be involved in. So, in talking about being a fugitive with the cops nearby, for example, in realistic modes, you don't know where the cops are. You don't know when someone reports that you are a suspicious character that's hiding or running away. And a sample of the intense music that plays in the background as you plan and execute your criminal activities, this gets kind of interesting. Wrong one. That was kind of fun, actually. We can play a Simon and Garfunkel song. This is the kind of crap my daughter listens to. She'd be bouncing up and down in the car. It's one of the problems of driving with Barbara in her car. All she plays is this heavy metal rap stuff that I want to blow my brains out. Well, according to Apple's own rules regarding app submissions, the game should have been rejected outright. On the Lam Fugitive Simulator seems to break a lot of Apple's rules, such as rule number 15, violence. Apple states no apps are to portray realistic images of people or animals being killed, maimed, shot, stabbed, tortured, or injured, all of which happens on the Lam, or have enemies, in quotes, within the context of a game. That's all they have. Involve realistic depictions of weapons in such a way as to encourage illegal or reckless use of such weapons. That all will be rejected. You think? You ask, how did this thing ever pass any kind of a screening mechanism, board, sensor, program that Apple may have? Well, here's the way the app gets around Apple's rules against violence. Because of portraying realistic images of people, the game uses text to describe the violence that you can commit. So no actual images, but lots of graphic scenes or weapons that are written about, which, excuse me, I don't know why I'm coughing this morning, which seems to work pretty well. However, the entire premise of the game, in and of itself, blatantly breaks Apple's rules. There is something called the objectionable content, objectionable content rule, that Apple says they're going to reject any game that presents excessively objectionable or crude content. Hey, going around and killing cops and murdering people, terrorist activities, blowing up synagogues so you can kill as many Jews as you can. Why would that be objectionable? Or apps that are primarily designed to upset or disgust users. There is an interesting value judgment, right? How many people are actually upset? Or any parent or person who objects. For example, Grand Theft Auto has a problem, always had, in terms of getting people upset, particularly parents. But how about the kids? Oh, yes. Are the kids totally upset about this? What do you think? Various reviews of On the Lam from kids include, I want this game, all in caps, LOL. Another one, looks really cool. Looks nicely detailed in what options you have available as a fugitive. I vote yes. The company that released the app, Skaldic Games, said this was designed to be a realistic simulation. It does not promote murder, drug use, or any other crime. Okay. The value to gamers is to experience what being a fugitive would really be like, which no other game that I have seen has done before. That's true. For example, killing cops. You really do want to experience that. Want your kids to experience realistically what it feels like to kill police officers or blow up buildings that children are in. Now, it's hard to believe the game doesn't actually promote violence based on what it asks you to do. And if you do it well, you become successful. For example, one particular mission, the game says, you have just murdered a man in cold blood over an argument over money that he owes you. You now fear being caught, so you flee the scene, and then there starts the scenario of an escapee. Where you go, you break into people's homes, you steal things, you murder some people if they get in your way, particularly innocent homeowners, for example. That's a big one. And the game seems to promote crime and drug use by offering the player the option of going to the liquor store either to buy or to steal beer and cigarettes, which is particularly good for minors because you never know when minors are going to steal beer and cigarettes. Oh, incidentally, stealing beer and cigarettes gives you more points than buying beer and cigarettes. So if your kid has played the game and you're unhappy about it, can you do anything about it? Well, you can complain to Apple on their website in the feedback section. And so the only thing that On the Lam can do after that, assuming that the app is gone, is roll it out as a video game and charge $60 or $50 or whatever they charge. Now, do I think there is a direct connection between violent video games and kids being violent? I don't know. Because I think that it depends on how you look at stats. Gee, if there is a connection, look at it. More kids who play violent video games are violent. Well, the argument is a lot of people think, or some people think, that it's the games that cause violence. And if you get rid of the games, then the violence will decrease. Just as solid as an argument is the kids that are violent buy these games. And it really has nothing to do with the violence that they have a propensity to commit anyway. As a matter of fact, the argument is if they're sitting there playing video games, then they're out. They're not out gangbanging or committing crimes. Especially if you have some kid who is sitting up in his or her room, usually his at this point, with usually teenagers being involved in these kinds of games. Although I got to tell you, gamers today, on their 30s, 40s, who play all these crazy games. So I'm not going to comment on the stats because the jury is still out. Oh, that's the other thing you do is kill the jury whenever you're on trial. Let's not forget that. Kidnap them, hold them ransom or whatever. But I would have a real problem with my kids doing this. But then I have girls too. Would I let my son do this? I don't think so. Probably not. Nah, wouldn't do it. All right, coming up, Handel on the News Late Edition. This is KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
You may not hear every word I say, but my little microphone friend here does. Don't you? KFI.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
News on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks.
More details about an ambush